Tennessee.
Dobbs drops back, fires long for the end zone. The pass is going to be caught by Tennessee.
Tennessee wins.
Caught it by Tennessee. Jawan Jennings. What a turn of events.
Give him 6.
To the checkerboards. Touchdown, Tennessee.
Rock Solid Sports, the only show with a home field advantage for UT Athletics. Here's tonight's host.
Welcome in to Rock Solid Sports. It is Friday night. I'm Chloe here with Jace, Riley, and Justin coming at you live from the WUTK studios tonight. And we have so much to talk about. First SEC game that is on campus. First home SEC game, I guess I'll put it that way, coming up tomorrow versus South Carolina. It's a revenge game. Also, we got to cover what happened last week, and we have to cover what's coming up in the NFL as well. Titans play the Bengals this weekend and so much more to come. First of all, how are you guys doing on this Friday? How are we feeling? How's the energy on campus for this South Carolina game tomorrow?
I am extremely excited. I wish I was a little more nervous because I feel a little bit too confident. But yeah, I'm really excited. Hopefully the guys come out as hot as I am tomorrow.
Yeah, man, you can definitely feel it. The energy is there. It's all the way there, and you can tell people are excited about it. You've got the whole dark mode thing, and that, of course, is going to be a major thing. And I already hear people talking about their all-black fits that they're ready to pull up in. So it's going to be exciting. It's going to be an absolute spectacle in Neyland tomorrow night.
Yeah, people are going to dress up like it's a funeral. It's going to be really cool. But I think a lot about last year's game against Kentucky. Obviously, the Bama game was the best game to be at, but the second best was definitely Kentucky. It was just so cool seeing the night game wearing all black, and kind of they really put on a show. Neyland did. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, if there's good vibes I'm feeling, it's definitely because this is so similar to the Kentucky game last year. Obviously, a little bit earlier in the season, right? Not quite that close to Halloween, but I'm definitely super excited. Shout out to my little sister, who's a freshman here, who just texted me randomly today saying, I splurged and got it. And she bought herself a black jersey. So she's going tomorrow. So she's got to do that. We also have really awesome like black WTK hats here that we're selling as well. You can check that out on our social media. Let's get right into it. First of all, we'll get into South Carolina in just a minute. We got to cover what happened last week at home, Tennessee versus UTSA. Nothing unexpected, but definitely glad this happened of the outcome. 45-14 Tennessee victory. Do you guys think, and I asked the same question on Wednesday, if you were a Joe doubter before, do you think that this game redeemed Joe Milton? Maybe a little bit, completely, otherwise? No?
I'd say maybe slightly. I wouldn't go full-fledged just yet because it was UTSA. It was a game that we were projected to win, of course. Nothing crazy. I think I was more pleased with overall was just the play calling. I felt like my big word last week was aggressiveness. Be aggressive on the play calls, and your guys will play aggressive, and we'll see a different brand of football out there. And I thought we saw a little bit of that. Of course, first play of the game, we see something that we haven't seen all year with the read option for Joe taking it 81 yards to the house. And that really made me more mad than excited because I was mainly thinking to myself, where was this at Florida? This creative play calling that we haven't seen so far this year. Why wait for a game that we're supposed to win instead of using it game one in the SEC? That was my big takeaway. But, I still think Joe still has some stuff to prove. It'll be really interesting to see what he does this weekend.
Yeah, I totally agree. I don't think he's redeemed himself at all. He probably made what was the dumbest decision I've ever seen on a football field last week at Florida. And so this UTSA game was a step in the right direction, but certainly not a redemption or putting me in any headspace where I think Joe Milton is one of those quarterbacks that can get that can compete for a Heisman or in that top upper rank of quarterbacks in college football, like a lot of people thought he would be able to do coming into this season. So I'm not sold on Joe Milton still. I need to see way more. I need to see the ball get thrown down the field. That's not entirely his fault. We mentioned it is partly the play calling. And there was a little bit more of that in UTSA, but I want to see so much more of that because that's his strength, and we're just not seeing that.
Yeah, I'm not sold on Joe Milton either. Yeah, that really was one of the dumbest plays I've ever seen too, back in Florida. But we're just seeing the stuff that concerned us when we first saw him put on a Veral's jersey 2 years ago, before he got benched, and we all thought he took a big step, in the short spurts he played in last year, especially the Vanderbilt and the Clemson game. But I mean, he only completed 58% of his passes this game, and it was just more of the same that we've been complaining about all year. Just his throws are just off target. He's putting way too much heat on these balls. Yep. There's no touch. But the wheels were a nice surprise. I think that everyone was kind of shocked that he took that 80 yards to the house. But you're still seeing the same things that just kind of make us scratch our head. Like, this isn't the guy we thought we had.
And to that point, Justin, when I was saying that last year, when we saw it, we were like, whoa, Joe actually might have taken a big step while he was benched. What were they doing with him? They were throwing the ball down the field, those long routes to Squirrel White.
Yeah.
That's what we were seeing. That's what we were impressed with. And where have those routes been for Squirrel White this season? He's had maybe 3 or 4 routes like that all season, and he's maybe hit on 2 of them, missed on 2 of them.
That's a great point. Yeah, it seems like the 3 main receivers have been Brew, Dante, and Keaton. We haven't really seen as much of Squirrel White as we've hoped. I mean,
right. And even with that, Dante hasn't seen like that much playtime and or just targets in general. Like we saw him have a couple like decent catches at Florida. I think he had a couple decent ones, but besides that, we just haven't seen him out there very much either. It's really like, with those 2 deep threats that we have with Squirrel and Dante, guys that can really stretch the field and not taking advantage of that against opponents that we know that we can get on their heels and really put them in a really bad position. Why we aren't taking those shots this year like we did last year with Jalen Hyatt, I am unsure of.
Yeah, it really feels like it's just a crazy amount of bubble screens this year. Like, I don't remember this happening last year. I mean, we would have a few bubble screens, but we'd go progress down the field, maybe like a 5-yard out route, a little post route, a deep in route, and then of course the long go ball. And it just feels like, inside zone, hand off to Jabari Small, 4 yards, bubble screen, 2 yards, and then it's like 3rd down already, and it's only been 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Do you guys think it would be different if we saw receivers like Jalen Hyatt, or is all the play calling here?
No.
I think they're with the new OC in Hasley, instead of having Golish at the head, I've seen definitely a change in pacing. It felt like last year, maybe it's with the Hendon Hooker thing too. Just that leadership out on the field, knowing the ins and outs of the playbook maybe a little bit more than Joe does right now. But just the confidence those 2 had together, it felt like, made this offense run so much smoothly. I've hit on it before. It just feels the pacing of this offense is completely like 180 to last year. Like last year, we were getting it going and we were moving at like lightning speed. This year, it feels just a little toned back. And I think that's kind of holding our offense back from the productivity that we've seen from our guys.
Yeah, because we're just not catching a rhythm. Last year, it'd be like boom, boom, boom. Now it's like, Now we're going backwards. It's like 2 steps back, 1 step forward type of thing.
Yeah, and to what you're saying, Chloe, I don't think at all this has anything to do with the talent on the field. Dante Thornton's a very talented receiver. Squirrel White's a very talented receiver. We saw that last year. We saw him do the things that we're wanting to see last year. Yeah, I seriously doubt Squirrel White has regressed to the point where he can't, catch a go route anymore. To me, it's entirely the play calling, and it's just become very vanilla. It's like you mentioned, inside zone, bubble screen, inside zone. That's all we're seeing from them, and it's becoming very vanilla, and it's becoming something that, like, if I'm watching the Vols on tape, that's all I'm seeing from them. It's like, is that your only trick? Is that all you got in the bag? Is some bubble screens? Like, what happens to the creative play calling, the explosive plays that we saw last year? They're gone.
Yeah, and in an offense that you'd expect the defense to be all spread out, I mean, it would just been tight, and kind of allowed defenses to, press up on the line and not stack the box, but just play up higher on the receivers and be much more aggressive because we're not making them pay.
Speaking of receivers, Ramel Keaton, I believe, is supposed to be back tomorrow. Josh Heupel kind of said they had a good week. I'm not really sure if that means he's back. I'm pretty sure that we're solid on Cooper Mays being back tomorrow, though.
I hope so, because, again, we're going to need it, especially against SEC opponents, not so much against UTSA. I get not playing Cooper Mays, even though he might have been ready to go last week. But But just not having him for Florida killed us in that game because our O-line guys were just flustered. So hopefully he's back. Granted, this one's at home. We're not in a hostile environment like the Swamp. Maybe more leadership up there this week. It can kind of prepare for those road games coming up in about a month. We've still got some games in this home stretch.
Yeah, I'm kind of hoping that the entire reason we haven't seen those explosive plays where you let routes develop down the field is because they're afraid of the pass protection. They're like, oh, maybe Joe can't hang in there as long because we don't have our guy in there. We don't have our center in there. So maybe we see him come back. The offensive line settles a little bit, less pre-snap penalties, which has been a major thing. Less of those to where we're not starting drives 1st and 15. Little bit more calm on that front to where Joe Milton can hang in that pocket just a little bit longer and put those balls deep down the field. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, absolutely. Center, of course, definitely an underrated position for sure, and we're starting to
First
realize
person
that
who
this
touches
year.
the ball.
Yeah, absolutely. It makes it or breaks it. But speaking of that, hopefully we'll see Cooper out there on the field tomorrow versus South Carolina. South Carolina 2-2 on the season. I mean, this is a revenge game for sure for Tennessee, but it all comes down to tomorrow night, 7:30? I'm sorry, 7:30 p.m. In Neyland. I definitely have, like I was talking to Jace before this, I'm definitely have excitement, but it's like nervous excitement for sure surrounding that. I'm definitely happy that we are home in Neyland and it's a night game. I definitely think that that's going to be electric for sure. So I'm really excited about the environment. But as far as the game, and we talked about this on Wednesday as well, we talked about South Carolina's defense and stuff, but at the end of the day, Spencer Rattler is on his game this year. Yep. He's playing his best. So, I mean, what do you guys think? Especially having seen the game last year, the South Carolina game, what do you guys think that Tennessee is going to have to stop South Carolina from doing in order to win this game?
I think the biggest one, of course, Spencer Rattler is the main threat for that offense. We're going to have to keep him corralled in. And I think one way that we hopefully can do that is containing Xavier Legette, who has just been balling out this year. He's already up to 556 receiving yards, averaging over 20 yards a catch. Absolutely ridiculous. Speedy guy. Had 189 yards last week against Mississippi State. Coming in hot off of that win, I think it's going to be absolutely imperative to limit him getting the ball and making those big plays. And with that, I think we can slow down that offense, get the ball back in our offense's hands, keep our defense fresh, and I think that's really going to take us a long way tomorrow.
Yeah, I think my biggest thing for this game, defensively particularly, is getting pressure on Spencer Rattler, forcing him into quick throws to where he has to make quick decisions. When he's not getting pressured, he's one of the best quarterbacks in college football. In a clean pocket, he can dice you up. So we have guys like Tyler Barron who have been on an absolute tear so far this season. Let them do what they do. If they're able to get pressure on Spencer Rattler, it forces him to make quicker decisions, uglier throws that maybe our defensive backs can capitalize on, because although they do like to give up a lot of yards, one thing that defense is good about is forcing turnovers. We saw 2 of them last week, Warren Burrell and Tamarian McDonald getting a pick each. So if they can force Spencer Rattler into errors through some pressure, whether it's simulated pressure where he's forced to get the ball out quick because he thinks there's pressure coming, or actual pressure where Tyler Barron is in that backfield, forcing Spencer Rattler to take off, that pressure is going to be the most integral thing for this defense.
Yeah, the pressure is going to be there from the first snap, just because the environment that he's going to be in. But same with the defensive line. I mean, this is an offensive line that allowed 9 sacks against North Carolina in week 1. So they do have deficiencies up there, just like we do. But yeah, I like how you mentioned Xavier Legette,
I think one along those lines. We hit it at least.
But yeah, 556 yards. The next most on South Carolina is 120. So the offense absolutely runs through number 17. So we need to slow him down. I like what Riley said. Yeah, force a turnover early, because that's what we did against Kentucky last year in the same type of scenario. And that's how Joe Milton came in as a backup and had more yards than Will Levis that game. So I'm looking for a similar thing for Tennessee to do. What do you guys think about the defense so far this year? Do you think we do have the personnel to kind of throw Rattler off his game early like we did Levis last year?
I think up front, I think we absolutely can. I don't think their offensive line has been very great. Like you just said, North Carolina gave up 9 sacks to North Carolina. Is not great against any opponent. That's just horrible. But yeah, I think pressure-wise up front, I think we're going to be able to provide some pressure, put Spencer Rattler in some unfortunate and uncertain situations behind the line, get him out of the pocket. But with that said, him out of the pocket is still scary because he is very talented on the run. We've seen him make plays out there before. Again, yeah, I think mainly, again, like we've been hitting on all year, the main subject for our defense this week is going to be our secondary being able to cover receivers of any caliber
and tackle.
Absolutely. Yeah, tackle. Yeah, don't just don't get me started. Do not I want to see gang arm tackle, not arm tackles, gang tackles. Do not arm tackle, do not throw a shoulder, do not try to impose your will. Wrap the man up, bring him down. That's how you impose your will. Putting him between you and the turf, that's the way we got to do it.
Yeah, I love it with the old heads. They're like, get multiple hats on
absolutely. Yeah, the same thing with Florida. We saw like Kamal Haddon walk up while Trevor Etienne is getting tackled.
Just tapped him on the butt.
Tapped him on the butt, and he goes for 60 more yards to the house in the first quarter. It's like
it was like it was revving up a horse.
Dude, if
let's go
remotely like put your hand on the guy, it slows him down. We get another hat on there, and that play is over right there. But it's just getting more hats to the ball is going to be imperative for this defense.
Yeah, I think the defense has taken a step forward from last year, certainly. I mean, they're giving up 100 less yards than South Carolina's defense is right now. And that will give them the edge in this game because the offenses are very similar in terms of production. So if that defense can continue what they've done so far this season outside of what they did in Florida, particularly in that second quarter for Florida, then I think the Vols will be able to contain Spencer Rattler and force him into errors that they can capitalize on.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. That's a big major key. Pressure is key for sure in this game. Defense can't get weary. And I don't know, honestly, because we talked about South Carolina's O-line a little bit, right? And it's, I think that our defense will be able to do it this week. With that, I want to know your all score predictions as well. Anyone who already has been thinking about theirs can start off. Tennessee or South Carolina, and by how many?
Of course I'm going to take the Vols in this one. I don't think there's any reason that we should lose this game, especially with it being at home in Neyland at night. I think this place is going to be absolutely rocking tomorrow night because I'm going to be in there too. But I don't think we throw up as many points as we did last week. If we do, I'm going to be beyond happy and maybe not surprised. I don't think the South Carolina defense is anything crazy. I think we saw what it can do against Georgia. I thought they did pretty well, but man, if we can bring it, I think we can put up 41, and I think we can hold them to 27. I'm going to take that 41-27 Vols.
Yeah, I did my podcast earlier today on our podcast studio, right across the hallway from us. And my score prediction then, and I'm going to stick with it here on the show. I went with 34 Vols, 24 South Carolina.
That's crazy. That's literally what I was about to say.
Yeah, I think the Vols should be able to come out with this one. Home environment, dark mode. Neyland's going to be rocking. It's going to be a very hostile environment. And I certainly think that this defense and the offense, they both play much better at home than they have away so far in this season. I mean, even Virginia in that neutral site game, they played better at home at Neyland than they have during either of those games. So I'm going to give the Vols this one by a margin of 10 points. They ain't going to cover. I don't see them covering the 12-point spread, but they will win this game.
Yeah, that 12-point spread is pretty big. But, yeah, I'm going to take the same score because you pretty much guessed mine. It was crazy. But, I think we'll make enough stops in clutch situations against the Gamecocks. Spencer Rattler will have a few big plays. But, overall, I think Joe Milton, he doesn't even need to outduel him. That's the thing. Like, I think our running game could get going. D-Sam could have a big game. Jalen Wright isn't playing, right?
I don't think so.
So it should be a big game for D-Sam, maybe Jabari Small. But yeah, 34-24. And yeah, we get it done in a raucous crowd. Hey, this game is not just like Neyland night game. Like, it's not just a football game being played. This is like an experience. I think they put on an amazing show.
Yeah, it's personal this week, coming from last year with the orange helmet fiasco and losing Hendon in that game. I think revenge is on these guys' mind. Hopefully it doesn't get too caught up in there, but hopefully it stays in there enough to maybe drive them to a win.
There's going to be some personal fouls.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
I might have a
It's going to be led by
I might have a personal foul of my own out tailgating tomorrow night, but I mean, that's up for
no referees out there.
Yeah. Nobody's really going to be throwing flags at me.
This is a game I've had circled definitely for sure since last season. Right after that game directly, I feel like this is a game where Tennessee. I mean, I don't know. I kind of want to like manifest it, like maybe like my intuition or something, and speak exactly like my intuition about LSU being bad at Tucker. And I'm going to speak it out into his existence. I'm really expecting a game where either like it's really close, or Tennessee loses, which is not what I want, or B, Tennessee wins by a lot, kind of similar to that Kentucky game last year. I'm going to go Tennessee 34, South Carolina 14.
It's going to be so emotional.
Let's go.
Like, when we're on defense, watch Kamal Hatton. He's going to be chirping the whole game. It's going to be hilarious.
Man,
he's going to get a flag.
But is he going to give up like 210 like he did last year? That's
if he does, you wouldn't be able to tell if he's still talking.
He'd still be doing it. Yeah.
Hey, if he can get in their heads, then he can keep talking. That's the way I see it.
Yeah, as long as they don't get in the end zone.
Yeah, I would say only if he's getting in their head and they're staying in front of him. Stay on the other side.
Turn your head around.
Yeah, turn around. I mean, look, we saw what he did when he turned his head around.
The one time he did against Austin Peay, we got a pick.
That's what I'm saying. Kamal Hatton, he's got it all there.
Turn your head
he's
around.
Just got to turn his head.
He's going to make a big tackle this week.
Just do it.
All right, but yeah, I that's the way I'm seeing it. I think this defense can definitely come alive, particularly in an environment like this. And I mentioned this as well earlier. You think about those players that were there last season; they're playing for something. And I also mentioned if Joe Milton is going to have a breakout game this season, it's going to be this one.
Yeah, wait a minute. I think Hendon Hooker is going to be at the game because the Lions played on Thursday.
Oh, we're winning by 50.
I know Josh Dobbs.
We got to win by 50.
Really?
Josh Dobbs is in Knoxville.
Oh man, there's no way we lose then. Absolutely no way.
That will just
Hooker's,
make it worse.
Dude, I think Hooker's for sure going to be there. If Dobbs is there too, that's going to be insane.
I know the whole 98 team is going to be there. The whole 98 team is going to be there. They're doing like a salute. They're doing like a champions game tomorrow.
It's
yeah,
Champions
everybody.
Weekend.
Champions weekend.
Now.
Everybody is here.
That's
we
why the
better
spread
not
is 12.
freaking lose.
Hey,
I swear.
Can y'all imagine the crowd pop when Hendon Hooker walks out onto that field?
I'm
goosebumps.
Tarps are coming off. The tarps are coming off.
Goosebumps.
Yeah.
Oh
gosh. This is making me more nervous, guys. No, I think it will be good. I think that Tennessee, I always feel like I think like the worst or the best, but I definitely think the best. Like this is the perfect what do you call it? Like environment. This is the perfect environment for Tennessee to win. It's like when you have those like chickens in school and the eggs have to be in the incubator so they can like
what?
That might be a your school only type.
West Tennessee stuff.
No. This is West High School. West Tennessee don't even do this, man. You know who you talking
I'm
to.
saying it's the perfect. You know how like it's for example, like for a plant to grow, you have to have the perfect
right,
amount.
okay,
It has to be the perfect environment for it to flourish and to grow well. That's tomorrow night. Neyland is going to be the perfect environment for a ball win. That's what I think.
The plant analogy made way more sense.
Small town USA
perspective. Like it's on the incubator and you put the chicken eggs in it, and then the chicken eggs, that's how they have to live. They have to be in that heat for them to stay alive.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Sorry, I should have started with the plant one. But anyways, you never had like chicks in your kindergarten classroom?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Well, they're really cute. Anyways, with that being said, hoping for the comfortable Vol win tomorrow. And yeah, we'll see you in Neyland if anyone's headed over there. I'm excited, and let's go Vols. After this, we're going to be talking some NFL. A lot more happening this weekend as well. We'll get into our game picks for the week and what we think you need to pay attention to this weekend, and maybe whatever is coming up on Monday night as well. Stay tuned. You're listening to Volunteer Radio 90.3 The Rock, rocking ears for 41 years.
The Rock thanks the UT Athletic Department for their support. The 2023 football Vols will play home games at Neyland Stadium against SEC rivals South Carolina, Georgia, Texas A&M, and others. Allvols.com for info, with a link at wutkradio.com. UT student ticket info is at bigorangetics.utk.edu. 90.3 The Rock says, Go Vols!
The Rock thanks Cool Beans 1817 Lake Avenue, 1 block south of the Strip, for sponsoring and hosting the Monday night Rock Solid Sports broadcast at 7 p.m. Cool Beans is the pre- and post-game location for UT football and Knoxville's home for the NFL Sunday Ticket, Titans on the Big Screen, and more. Rock Solid Sports kicks off Monday Night Football with the shows live from 7 to 8 p.m. at Cool Beans. Cool Beans is 21 and over after 9 p.m. with a full and late night menu. CoolBeansBar.com or their Facebook page.
Volunteer Radio thanks the UT Athletic Department and the men's basketball program for their support. Coach Barnes' 9th season on the Summit includes home games against Kentucky, Vandy, and more at Thompson Bowling Arena. Allvols.com. Student ticket info and login is at bigorangetics.utk.edu. That's TIX. Volunteer Radio says, Go Vols basketball.
The Rock thanks the One Knox Sporting Club soccer team for their support. One Knox plays all of their home matches at Regal Soccer Stadium on campus, and the season runs into October, with matches against Memphis, Chattanooga, Lexington, and more USL League One opponents. Tickets, including UT student tickets and game day info, is at oneknoxsc.com. And WUTK is proud to be a media partner with One Knox. Rock Solid Sports will be keeping up with One Knox soccer all season long. One Knox SC. We are one.
Hi, this is Derek and Rob from the Funhouse. It was brought to our attention that our show and the things that we do could be seen as childish and not funny, sophomoric, vapid, stupid, and a complete and utter waste of time.
We strive to bring you the most entertaining radio that we're capable of each and every week.
So won't you please continue to support us and the station? Tune in every Friday night from 8 to 10 p.m. only on 90.3 The Rock.
The Funhouse, simplest free since 2013.
Stop by the Funhouse Friday nights from 8 till 10 only on 90.3 The Rock.
The Funhouse is proudly sponsored by Raven Records and Rarities and Happy Holler, providing Knoxville with vinyl and more for nearly 40 years. And by ScruffyCity.com, your downtown destination.
The Rock thanks the UT Athletic Department and the Lady Vols volleyball program for their support. The 2023 Lady Vols volleyball team will face off on the court against LSU Sunday, October 8th at noon at Thompson Bowling Arena. Allvols.com for tickets to cheer the Lady Vols on against LSU. Stay tuned to Rock Solid Sports for more UT Lady Vols volleyball info, utsports.com, and a link is at wutkradio.com. The Rock says, good luck, Lady Vols volleyball.
Support for WUTK comes from Fieldhouse Social, the modern sports bar next to campus at University Commons. Fieldhouse Social serves American craft fare such as burgers, wings, and more with high tops around the bar, a separate dining area, and a center lounge with leather chairs and couches in front of their 23-foot LED TV wall for Tennessee and pro sports. Fieldhouse Social is an outdoor patio with trivia twice a week and sponsors Wednesday's Rock Solid Sports. FieldhouseSocial.com.
The Rock thanks Knoxville Ice Bears Southern Professional Hockey League team for their support. Their 2023-24 home ice season from October through April includes games with Fayetteville, Huntsville, Roanoke, and more at the Civic Coliseum downtown. Single game and season tickets at KnoxvilleIceBears.com. Rock Solid Sports features Ice Bears Wednesdays with news and updates. Volunteer Radio says, Go Ice Bears!
Welcome back into Rock Solid Sports. It's Friday night. I'm Chloe here with Jace, Justin, and Riley. And we just kind of gave a preview for that South Carolina game tomorrow. Right now, we're going to head into some pro sports, NFL. First of all, we got to start off with Thursday night. The Lions beat Green Bay. I think on Wednesday, we actually predicted this would happen just because I think we all secretly or not secretly wanted to see the Lions succeed. I think we all do at this point, unless you're a Green Bay fan. And so we all kind of went with the Lions for this, but this was super excited. I'm super excited for them. What was the score again? You have
34-20.
34-20. Yep. Lions on top. Are the Lions back, guys? They gotta be.
I mean, going into Lambeau, like at any time, it's gonna be a tough place to play. But especially during a primetime game, and usually, the Packers show up on primetime, going out there winning by 2 touchdowns. Probably should have been more, let up some touchdowns in the second half, but still pulled away in that one. I think that was very impressive. I thought the offense looked great. I thought the defense played great. David Montgomery, of course, scoring 3 touchdowns. The Lions look like they won it this year, and it right now sole possession of the NFC North division lead right now after that win last night. So everybody's got to be feeling really good about Detroit.
Yeah, I think Detroit looked really good, and Green Bay did not look particularly good at all. And that offense for Detroit was super impressive. And as much as I hate that they're, sticking with using David Montgomery over Jahmyr Gibbs, because I am a Jahmyr Gibbs lover. I only have him in one fantasy league. Like, I don't even really care about the fantasy that much. He's just an exciting player to watch. He's just electric.
Explosive.
He's just electric. So I hate that David Montgomery is still getting all the work over him. But that being said, David Montgomery did look great in this game. He had a great game. Jared Goff, man, I feel like a lot of people wrote wrote Jared Goff off after what he did in LA. But man, he came to the Lions and he's looked just incredible since then. So hey, big shout out to Jared Goff for what he's doing. Another rookie, Sam Laporta, tight end. I love what he's doing so far, and he's a lot of fun to watch as well, playing tight end. And obviously you got Amon-Ra. He's a baller, man, just an absolute target machine. He's getting a ton of work for them, and he's doing a lot with it.
Yeah, and you mentioned Laporta, Gibbs. They had a great draft because what's Branch's first name?
Brian.
He got hurt, but he got hurt in this game, but he's looked amazing.
He was playing lights out up until then.
And then Jack Campbell, the linebacker. These are hard-nosed guys, and they play hard-nosed football. Green Bay had a perfect chance. Goff throws a pick on one of the first few passes in the game. You're on the 30-yard line, and I think it was a 20 or something. And Jordan Love responds by just going backwards, which is just crazy. You gotta, if you get the ball, if you get the ball from a turnover in a divisional game at home, and that's what you do, that really sets the tone for a game. And it's like the Lions saw that. You're like, okay, we're gonna punch you in the mouth. We're gonna give it to David Montgomery 34 or 32 times or whatever it was. And that was just Dan Campbell football, punch you in the mouth type of style. And for Green Bay, you look at Jordan Love, you're like, oh, hold on. We know he's scored a lot of touchdowns this year, but he's been insanely efficient. There's games like last week the week against Atlanta. He had 14 completions through three touchdowns. On the year, he's completed under 60% of his passes and had some bad picks last night. So on the Jordan Love front, I'm not sold on him. I'm not sold on what Matt LaFleur is trying to do. They ran the ball 10 times this game. There's 10 carries between Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. For a young quarterback, what are you doing? I know the Lions have a good run defense, but that Green Bay O-line has always been good.
Yeah, and Jordan Love, I think I read a stat not too long ago. He has a league high, what was
it's uncatchable throws. 30, yeah, it's 30%.
30% uncatchable targets. That's crazy.
Christian Watson did come back this game, made a minimal impact, was wide open on a touchdown.
Romeo Doubs had also a good game for Green Bay. Had 9 catches for 95 yards. He
was cementing himself as a wide receiver one.
So they got some talent over there. Yeah. But the NFC's so wide open, they could sneak into the playoffs. The defense is pretty good. And I think the offense has enough structure within the O-line and playmakers, especially Aaron Jones.
If they can get that just O-line healthy, if they can get Bakhtiari, a solid guy, back out there, I think they can turn it around and make a push for a playoff spot.
Yeah, but I don't think they're scaring anybody. They're going to win. Absolutely. They're going to beat up on bad teams, which they've done so far this year, Chicago especially. But I'm not really intrigued by Green Bay. The Lions, though, man, they were a top 5 offense last year, looking really good to start this year. Now the defense is getting going.
Gotta love what Dan Campbell does.
Gotta love Dan Campbell. 3-1. You gotta feel so good for him. I mean, I think everybody likes him. I'm really glad the organization stuck with him after like that 1 or 2-win season when they barely won any games, because it seems like it's paying off. He fits the Detroit like ethos very well.
Yeah.
And now they're getting Jameson Williams back, a first-round receiver last year. If he wasn't coming into that draft injured last year, he might have been the first receiver taken. And now NFL
would have been, yeah.
NFL's changed the gambling rules a little bit. Originally he had a 6-game suspension. Now it's cut to 4, and they played 4 games. So he brings an element of speed that offense doesn't really have. Khalif Raymond is a field stretcher, but he's like 5'9". Jameson Williams is like 6 feet tall. You saw what he did at Bama with Bryce Young. He's electric. And I'm really excited to see how that unfolds, because man, we're talking about
Khalif Raven's 5'8", by the way.
5'5". So yeah, he's a deep. He can stretch the field, but not too tall, not scaring too many people. He's a dog though. I'm not trying to hate on Khalif Raymond, but yeah, Jameson Williams, him and Amon-Ra St. Brown, Sam Laporta. I mean, this is a mean passing attack. You got Josh Reynolds behind him too, who's looked solid all season. And I mean, they just got hard-nosed guys like Brock Wright, like just random dudes that'll catch a touchdown. They just love playing for Dan Campbell. And that O-line is crazy good. So that opens up everything for the offense. So very excited for the Lions down the road.
You definitely have to be excited for them. What a great, turnaround. I mean, it took a few years, but now, it's a team you have to be excited for. I mean, I have learned, being a huge college person over professional person, getting into pro sports, that NFL wins, of course, it's not like college. You got to take those with a grain of salt. Of course, it's so different. But I mean, coming out to open the season and beating the Chiefs, defending national champions, even by 1 point, I mean, I was like, that's got to be a good sign. Something's different this year. So got to be happy for them. We'll get into this weekend. First of all, Bengals at the Titans. Bengals finally got their first win of the season this past week. So maybe maybe Burrow's kind of working his way back into this team, or getting something back. I don't know. We'll see. I am excited for this game for sure. Both teams 1-2 on the season. Any expectations, predictions for this Titans game this week?
I think the Bengals will win this one, and I don't think it'll be a blowout. I just don't think there will be any questioning behind them winning. The Titans just did not look great last week at all. I mean, Joe Burrow didn't look great either, but they got the win out. Jamar Chase did his thing finally for the first time this year, 141 receiving yards. Joe Burrow just had 259 passing and an interception. Nothing crazy just yet. Heading down to Nissan, like Justin said, that Nissan Stadium atmosphere will be in effect, but I don't see the Titans pulling this one out. I do not.
Yeah, I agree. But what I don't agree with you with is that it's not going to be a blowout. I think this is going to be a blowout.
Oh, okay.
You got Christian Fulton lined up against Jamar Chase.
Andre Dillard lined up against Trey Hendrickson.
It's like, who?
Those are the two major holes on our team.
Yeah,
right now.
I mean, it's going to be ugly, I think. And that run game is not going to be able to get anything going. The interior offensive line is still going to be without Peter Skoronski. It's not going to be pretty. NPF not going to be able to return yet. So that right tackle is still going to be out of position. It's going to be not pretty for the Titans. I don't see them being able to put any type of offense together, at least on paper, against the Bengals. It's not going to be good. And I think that defense, particularly the corners, are going to get torched just as bad.
Yeah, it's a shame because this defense is really good. This is one of the best D-lines in the league, but they're just on the field so much because the offense cannot sustain any drives that, we don't really get to see it. And what worries me the most about this game is Deshaun Watson last week looked terrible all year. He looked pretty good last week.
Yep.
And Joe Burrow really hasn't found his. But now we're talking about Joe Burrow. He hasn't found his rhythm.
Yeah.
A little bit last week. Didn't score any touchdowns, but I feel like this could be Joe Burrow's week that he reminds everybody he's Joe Burrow.
Getting that big old paycheck money, maybe proving he's worth it this weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see, man. I really don't know.
Taking the Bengals.
You guys.
Oh, absolutely taking the Bengals.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Spread's
I
2.5.
Yeah, just hammer that.
I feel like
Hammer it.
I have to, but I'm the last person to go, so I'll still say with the Bengals. But the Falcons and the Jaguars are playing in London this week. I just want to say, I clicked on the thing at Wembley Stadium. Tickets as low as $18. Anyways,
That's good. They're just trying to expand their fan base.
I know because it's in
internationally.
London, but still, like you have to go to London to get that. But still, that's is that the first international game?
Yeah,
this
first
year.
international
Okay.
game of the year. Yep.
Okay.
Jags got back-to-back games in London. They would be the London
Yeah, they might
Jaguars
as well.
for 2
They're going
weeks.
to be over there for a couple weeks. Yeah.
London Jags, man.
Yeah. I don't want to do all because we got predictions coming up later in the next segment as well, but just a few of also these games. Dolphins and Bills, that's going to be one we'll look at for sure.
Yep.
And obviously it's NFL. There's all the games this weekend. Got a lot of good ones coming. With that, I'll go ahead and throw it to our break just so we can discuss our predictions, our picks, our upset picks as well for NFL in the next segment. We'll be right back. You're listening to Rock Solid Sports on Volunteer Radio, 90.3 The Rock, UT's College of Rock.
The Rock thanks the One Knox Sporting Club soccer team for their support. One Knox plays all of their home matches at Regal Soccer Stadium on campus, and the season runs into October with matches against Memphis, Chattanooga, Lexington, and more USL League One opponents. Tickets, including UT student tickets and game day info, is at oneknoxsc.com. And WUTK is proud to be a media partner with One Knox. Rock Solid Sports will be keeping up with One Knox soccer all season long. One Knox SC. We are one.
The Rock thanks Concerts for Our Own for their support. Concerts for Our Own is a concert series providing an opportunity for local nonprofit organizations to showcase their causes and raise money for their organizations. The concert series will benefit Special Spaces, The Love Kitchen, and Breast Connect, and all shows take place Thursday nights at the Tennessee Amphitheater at World's Fair Park. Food trucks, adult beverages, and more on site. Here Come the Mummies bring their funky party to the World's Fair Park Amphitheater Thursday, October 12th. ConcertsforourOwn.org.
Volunteer Radio thanks the UT Athletic Department and the men's basketball program for their support. Coach Barnes' 9th season on the Summit includes home games against Kentucky, Vandy, and more at Thompson Bowling Arena. AllVols.com. Student ticket info and login is at bigorangetics.utk.edu. That's TIX. Volunteer Radio says, Go Vols basketball.
The Rock thanks Fieldhouse Social, the Wednesday home for Rock Solid Sports, for their support. American craft food, beer, and cocktails, plus a 25-foot big screen at University Commons Way. Fieldhouse Social welcomes sports fans and others alike to enjoy dishes like the citrus marinated chicken, grilled Faroe Island salmon, and smoked ribs. FieldhouseSocial.com or on Twitter and Facebook.
90.3 The Rock thanks the UT Athletic Department for their support. The 2023 football Vols will play home games at Neyland Stadium against SEC rivals South Carolina, Georgia, Texas A&M, and others. Allvols.com for info, with a link at WUTKradio.com. UT student ticket info is at bigorangetics.utk.edu. 90.3 The Rock says, Go Vols!
WUTK thanks Cool Beans, 1817 Lake Avenue, 1 block south of the Strip, for sponsoring and hosting the Monday night Rock Solid Sports broadcast at 7 p.m. Cool Beans is the pregame and postgame location for UT football, and Knoxville's home for the NFL Sunday Ticket, Titans football on the big screen, and more. Rock Solid Sports kicks off Monday Night Football with the show's live broadcast from 7 to 8 Monday nights at Cool Beans. Cool Beans is 21 and over after 9 p.m. with a full and late night menu. CoolBeansBar.com or their Facebook page.
The Rock thanks Knoxville Ice Bears Southern Professional Hockey League team for their support. Their 2023-24 home ice season from October through April includes games with Fayetteville, Huntsville, Roanoke, and more at the Civic Coliseum downtown. Single game and season tickets at KnoxvilleIceBears.com. Rock Solid Sports features Ice Bears Wednesdays with news and updates. Volunteer Radio says, Go Ice Bears!
Hey kids, it's Derek
and Rob from the Funhouse.
Brought to you each Friday night by Raven Records and Rarities, located at 1200 North Central in Happy Hollow.
Join us each Friday as we kick off your weekend with classics from bands like The Descendants, The Stooges, My Morning Jacket, Mudhoney.
Newer stuff from Amel and the Sniffers, King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, Wet Leg, and Turnstile. You'll also catch some local stuff
hip hop, Americana, metal.
Who knows? We don't even know half the time.
Every Friday at 8 o'clock, right here on 90.3 The Rock.
Hey, Jimmy from Out Loud Knox, how would you describe the show?
Music, blah, 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 blah.
The Funhouse is co-sponsored by your downtown destination, scruffycity.com.
Welcome back into Rock Solid Sports on Friday night. I'm Chloe here with Jace and Justin and Riley in the WTK studios. And we are going to finish out our hour with some NFL here. Talked about the Bengals versus the Titans game, and of course that Lions versus Packers game on Thursday. Now let's see. We're doing locks and upsets, right?
I believe so.
Okay.
That's been the theme for the last few weeks at least.
Okay. I for whatever reason picked like my game of the week, which I don't know. So I'll let you guys start with what you got locked in.
Gotcha. Alrighty. I guess I'll go ahead and kick it off with the locks. Let's just start there. I think for lock this week, I don't want to take the easy route and take 49ers over Cardinals. I think that's a little bit too gimme. I am going to take Chargers over Raiders at home. Chargers haven't had too great of success, but the Raiders just have not looked good. We saw a incredible game from Devontae Adams last weekend on Sunday Night Football against the Steelers. Had 2 touchdowns, had like 13 grabs for 170 yards. Just absolute masterclass out there. Still not enough to get past the Steelers at home in Las Vegas. And this one's on the road in Los Angeles at SoFi. I still think the Chargers are going to take this one fairly easily this weekend.
Okay, I have one now.
Uh-oh.
I'll go, but yeah, I'll go I want to say it before someone took it, but I'll go the Chiefs over the Jets. I just think there's no way that the Jets can. I don't see how. I mean, they're the Jets and also they're the Chiefs. So I think that this one, if there was an upset in this one, that would be that just wouldn't happen. It is at MetLife Stadium, so we'll see. But I still think that Chiefs definitely are locked in for this one.
Yeah, for my lock, I'm going to take Philly over Washington. I like Sam Howell. I like what he's done so far in his short time, but I just don't see them being able to overcome the hump that is that insane Philadelphia defense with all those dogs. And you say that literally. Yeah. The Bulldogs on that defense. And they have so much talent on that back end. I think Sam Howell is going to make a couple mistakes, throw a pick or two, and the Philadelphia offense is going to be able to capitalize on those mistakes.
Like it. 49ers game is a little too obvious to take. I'm going to take the Cowboys over the Patriots. Right. One of probably the most disappointing loss of the year last season.
Oh, absolutely.
It's Cowboys losing to Josh Dobbs and the Cardinals, but I think this game's in Jerry's world. I think they'll come back, and I think the offense will look as good as it looked all year. I think Pollard will have a big game. CD will have a big game. Dak will look pretty good, and they still got that boy Micah Parsons on the other side. He'll go crazy, and I think it's the Fox game of the week. It's on 4:25. They always play prime time or whatever. So, the stars will come out for the boys.
Absolutely. I'll kick it off for the upset picks of the week too. I'm good. This one's I'm a little bit iffy about, only because I think it's going to be a really incredible game on both sides of the ball potentially. I might take the Dolphins over the Bills this week, rolling off a 70 bomb against Denver last week. Surely these guys are staying hot. Jalen Waddle, who was not a part of that 70 piece that they dropped, coming back this weekend up in Buffalo against the Bills. I think they can still get it done. Of course, the Buffalo defense has always been good. It's just that offense kind of worries me on the Bills side of the ball, only because Josh Allen, we've seen his flashes of greatness, but man, does he turn that ball over a bunch whenever he does that first one, it just continues to roll off. So I'm going to take Dolphins over Bills this weekend.
Solid. I'm going to jump in here because speaking of that 70 ball, I'm going with the Chicago Bears to take down the Denver Broncos, man.
You're fighting over the Bears.
Hey, man, how many people are going to be tuning into that ball?
Man,
game?
I'm so excited for it. The trash bowl, baby. It's going to
toilet bowl, baby.
It's going to be so good. I'm very excited to see this. And the reason I am picking the Bears, who have looked absolutely dreadful all season, to go in there and upset the Broncos is because the Broncos had maybe the worst defensive performance I've ever seen ever in the history of ever.
I mean, it was the most points given up since 1966 by any team.
Exactly. And the issue was the offensive linemen were getting to the second level every time. Nobody was tackling. So they were able to run for free anywhere they wanted. And assuming that that's not just a fluke and they were just out there dead for that one game, if they go out there and do that again, that's the one thing Justin Fields is very, very good at, is running the football. And if he can run the ball, if they let him run the ball, which I think has been another issue with the Bears, is they haven't let Justin Fields do what Justin Fields is good at. If they let him run the ball, he's going to torch the Broncos. It's going to be ugly. And Vance Joseph, since he's not already fired, should be fired after this game.
Yeah, man, I really hope the Bears can get it done. I hate seeing all this negative coverage around the Bears. It's just kind of miserable at this point. I think Justin Fields will finally stop being a robot, like he called himself. My upset this week, another young quarterback, CJ Stroud and the Texans over the Steelers. This game's in Houston. I mean, we hadn't even touched on. I said the Cowboys had the most disappointing performance of the year last week, but so did the Jags are up there too. A 20-point loss to a Texans team where we expected nothing.
That was
out
my
of
lock of the week last week. Was
you
Jags
took the Jags
over the Texans.
I mean, I'm sure as many people's locks. Like we expected so much from the Jags this year, but we're not going to talk about them. We're talking about the Texans, and CJ Stroud has looked amazing this year. I mean, he's had like a 400-yard pass, or I don't know if it's 400-yard passing game, but he's like near the top of the league in yardage. Hasn't thrown a pick yet this season. He's had a really good connection with Nico Collins and rookie Tank Dell. It's been very exciting to see the rapport grow over these few weeks. Tank Dell's a guy, CJ Stroud told management that, he specifically wanted, he had Poole already, one day on the team. So you can see it in their celebrations because they've had several deep balls that's already connected this season, and they really hype each other up. There's clearly a bond there beyond football, and I think it'll lead them to a victory here against a Pittsburgh team whose offense, is hated by their fan base. And all the Steelers fans, you go on Twitter, you see anything from Steelers Twitter, it's Fire Canada.
Justin, you switching up a little bit from your pick on cover 4
because
you picked the Steelers to a little plug there.
Yeah.
We got the Cover 4 podcast, the NFL podcast.
My opinion changes with the facts, and Antonio Brown said it best himself. I think he said Fire Canada. He said
a lot more than Fire Canada.
Yeah. I think he said let him be the offensive coordinator, which I mean, he's crazy, right? So maybe that's crazy mind, crazy offense.
I mean,
whatever though.
Crazy is as crazy does. I mean, maybe they can take that young talent and put some, crazy luck in there. I don't know.
Man, I'm having a bad time picking mine. I actually, before Justin said his lock, I guess I'll pick this one. Let's start the Cowboys' downfall early this year.
Uh-oh.
New England over the Cowboys, guys.
Wow.
Let's do it.
In Jerry's world.
Yeah. Just, I mean,
I like it though.
I like the integrity behind it.
And, partly, we saw last week, Cowboys got beat, undefeated by the one and only Josh Dobbs.
Astro Dobbs, baby.
Their downfall begins now.
Hey, I don't hate that big.
Cardinals
that's
country,
one,
let's fly, baby.
I looked at that and I was like, am I going to make that my lock? And I was like, that just feels like one that could go south really quick.
Exactly.
So for the Patriots to win that game, they can't start slow. That's been the problem with these. They lost to Philly and Miami, amazing teams, but they've kept it close, and that's all coming from their offense in the second half, and obviously their defense too. But they got down big in both those games. So, I mean, Dallas's offense hasn't looked great all year compared to Philly and Miami, especially. So if they can keep it close, then it's a good pick.
Yeah.
Even though it's my lock.
I mean, technically the downfall started last week, but you get it. You get the point.
Yeah.
Other games this week. This was what I was going to say before when I forgot what we were doing. The Dolphins versus the Bills. Definitely, if I had to pick my game of the week, both teams very evenly matched. Also, just everyone's just following the Dolphins this season. That's another team not nearly as I guess I'll say historically bad as the Lions, but a team that, everyone's definitely following this season, and it's, excited to see where they'll go. So that would be my game that I'll definitely be yeah, it's on Sunday. I work all day, but I'll definitely be paying attention to that one. Sunday at 1 p.m. The Dolphins versus the Bills.
Well, before you work, you could catch Jaguars Falcons in London
9:30.
at 9:30.
That's true.
On a Sunday morning.
That's
What's
true.
better than waking
Drake
up to football?
London in London.
Ooh.
That's your game of the week.
T-Law.
That's not my game of the week. That's
Game of the week.
What's your game of the week?
That's my first game of the week. First game I'm watching this week, I guess. But
Ooh,
I'm taking Broncos Bears because I just
baby.
That was gonna be odd.
Because what did you say I'm coming for? You said a movable force meets
movable force
unstoppable
meets
object.
a stoppable object.
Yeah, so
a movable force meets a stoppable object.
I want to
It's
see
entertaining.
That thing
Yeah.
might
It's
end
gonna-
in a
it's gotta
tie.
be.
Who knows?
I know, like
0-0 tie.
it's gonna go on at the same time as the Dolphins Bills.
Yeah.
It's gonna be like 2 or 4 teams, two
Yeah.
pairings going in opposite directions.
Yeah.
But I'm here for it. It's gonna be some type of football. I don't know if
It's
it'll be
football,
good
baby.
football, but it'll be fun to watch.
It'll be entertaining football.
Exactly.
That's the best way to put it.
It's football. There's football in there. But I think my game of the week this week gonna be a divisional game. I'm gonna take Buccaneers Saints down in New Orleans, especially with the return of Alvin Kamara. VFL's coming back, and also we know that that rivalry between Marcus Lattimore and Mike Evans is always entertaining at the least. That's going to be more fun to watch down there.
I know we're running out of time, so I'll throw mine in here quick. I'm gonna go with Seattle taking on the Giants.
Like it.
I like it. I like the matchup here. Danny Jones finally showing some life last week. We think maybe the Giants can do something. We'll see. We'll see about it.
Might need Saquon in that game.
Yeah.
All right. And with that, we'll wrap up our show for today. Thanks for listening for our all football show as we like it in fall.
Friday football, baby.
Exactly. The Funhouse is up next. And as we said, a lot of stuff happening this weekend. Tune into us on
Let's
Monday.
beat the Gamecocks. Let's do
Enjoy
that.
the
Yeah.
weekend.
Go Balls!
We'll see you Monday.